Yes, sir. We did sinks and countertops. So we got 2 slabs of wood. They come pre-packaged, and you cut them down and cut them into place. So they bought the countertop. We cut them and put them in. So cut that piece, this piece, this piece, and we got to cut a hole for our sink there. But once you get it cut out, you install it. We shot screws up through the roof of this Lazy Susan up into the countertop so we can secure it that way. And then afterwards, we want to put on this oil coating. Gives it this nice finished look. And it takes about 4 coats. You put a coat on, wipe it off, wait a little bit, let it dry, another time, 4 times. So this has 4 coats on it. It's looking good. And then we just caulked it this morning. This is clear caulking. It comes on white, but after it dries, it'll be clear. So that'll look nice. We bring it up all the time. You know, this second build is nothing like the first one. It was just bare bones inside. On this build, we have to learn plumbing, carpentry, or cabinetry, finish work, and crown molding. So there's a lot of new skills that we had to pick up on this build. It's quite the jump from the other one. So, but we got it done. The last little project, excuse me, that we have to do is the corrugated steel. So after this, it's just touching up inside, making sure it looks super clean and perfect. So they go out on Monday and they have to be done today. So if we get them done early, we get to go home early. If we don't get them done, then we have to stay late. So we're trying to push through the clock, get them done as soon as possible, but also making sure we stay aware. This is your corrugated steel, goes on outside for a nice finished look. They come in panels. They're pretty sharp, so you want to make sure you wear your gloves. Don't cut your hands.
The edges?
Yeah. If it slips, you can slice your hand open pretty bad. So I got 3 panels up. You overlap them about 2 grooves. And then we screw them in with these guys.
Very cool.
It's hex with washers. This one though, we're probably gonna have to make a special cut. So figuring out how we're gonna do that. So we're making a special cut for that outlet over there. So it sits flush to the billy.
So you have to basically fit the corrugated steel around the outlet?
Yeah, so we're gonna have to cut it most likely with the grinder. Bottom left.
Yeah, so I just measured out where my electrical J-box is going to be placed on my corrugated steel. And so I found the bottom left corner of my J-box, which I marked right here. So I'm just getting ready to get a more precise line so I can cut it with my angle grinder. So I'm gonna get a 2x4 and put it across here, all the way across, and then clamp it down. And then I'll use this to get like a straight line, to carve a straight line into it. Just like 3 or 4 inches by like 3 inches, whatever the width and height of the J-box is. But I mean, yeah, we want it to look right, and you can kind of like see any like flaw or like rough edge on a cut or a crooked cut or anything like that. So if it happens, we just kind of toss the piece and get a new one. But yeah, we don't want to waste material, so we want to try our best to get it exact on the first try so that we don't waste any material.
want to do this with 2 people, but I'm kind of making it a one-man job. So I'll show you with this next panel. We want to at least overlap, like I mentioned earlier,
2
about
grooves, right?
2 grooves, so that will be okay. And then you want to make sure it's flush with the building. So I use this 2x4, put it under, and then I use my foot as a kind of like this, like a clamp, just to hold it in place. So I get it flush, then I shoot my screw in. So, again, a lot easier with 2 people, but we're on a time limit.
Yeah, so I got my measurements, my marks. They're all marked out on here. I had to use I call this a torpedo level, but I had to use this one instead of that one to get my measurements right. But what I did is I actually got the measurement of the box, and I had to kind of just make sure it was right by checking both sides, make sure it's straight and whatnot. And then put the cutting disc on here. This is a good cutting disc. You typically want to get don't want to buy cheap cutting discs, because if they explode on you, shards of whatever this kind of stuff is can fly everywhere, which isn't good.
And of course, eye protection, right?
Yeah, of course, eye protection. And to be honest, these are sunglasses, so I'll probably switch to my ANSI certified ones. Yeah, it's cutting nicely and smoothly. So far, so good. Just trying my best to keep a straight cut and cut on these ridges while not going too far. Like this spot over here, I went a little bit too far and nicked the edge, so I'm hoping I don't have to start all over. So hopefully we could find a fix. I'll have to ask about that. So as you can see, it's pretty tricky to keep a straight cut and cut these out without going too far. You got to be really precise with it, because it's easy to get twisted up with this and catch an edge, and then it will look really rough. Yeah, there's lots of variables going into this to keep a clean cut. Kind of got to just really kind of maneuver the angle grinder with just grip it really firmly, and what I like to kind of try and do is kind of tuck it into my hip or my waist area, kind of keep it straight, and then get underneath the material. So for these other spots that I can't get this in deep enough, I'm just going to take all this off and just flip the material. And I'll already know where my lines should be, because I have this cut and this cut, so I'm just going to close the gap pretty much. Typically while grinding, it's best to check your surroundings and make sure there's no flammables. But as you can see, there's no flammables, and there's a fire extinguisher right there. So.
Fit, Bryson?
Yeah, it fits. And I check on the bottom to make sure that it's flush with the glue lamp, and it is. So I don't think I'll even need to trim it. Maybe a little bit. Might need to trim the bottom just a little bit, so I'm going to take it off and do that real quick. So putting three screws in, one on the top, one on the bottom, one in the middle. And so I put my first screw in and I measured where it's at to the center, and it was at 25 inches, so I'm keeping it the same as I go around the house. It's important while measuring these, I learned this on the first build, just to measure from the two grooves over on the corrugated, well actually 3 on this one, on the corrugated steel, so that when it overlaps the measurement's right. But actually for this one I'm actually going to only need to measure from like 2 grooves over, because we're going to be going over this to cover this. So I'll actually only need 14 and 1/16 piece. That's how wide it will be.
We're cutting a piece to butt up to the side of the outlet over there to finish off this little row of corrugated steel.
Specialty cut, right? Because it's a skinny little guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. Bryson did a hard one. Anytime you have to cut a hole out of the corrugated steel, it's a pain in the butt. But he did a good job, and now we're gonna finish off. Good start to this morning. Everyone just kind of jumped in the saddle. We started a little early today since the houses are going out Monday. As you can see, we've been doing a lot of cutting. My wheel's pretty worn out, so I'm gonna change it, put a new one on. So during the home stretch, you know, you kind of feel excited. You see the goal in sight. So I think that's a little bit of extra fire, you know, gets everyone pumped up, working hard, dotting their I's, crossing their T's, and sticking to it, and making it look the best that we can possibly make it look.